You do have your podcast, Latina in Nashville, where you have on country artists who have Latin Hispanic roots. And there are a lot more than you might think if you were to look at Nashville from the outside.
There absolutely are. And we have a really cool community. You know, a couple years ago, when we co-founded the Country Latin Association, we were just finding that there's country music being played all over Latin America and all over the world. You know, I think in Brazil, there's a country artist down there that has millions and millions on millions of fans and streamers and, you know, just monthly listeners and views. And it's country music, but just in Portuguese. You just wouldn't have thought that. And same with Mexico. There's a lot of great artists down there that are singing country music. It's just in a different language. It's just in Spanish. So our goal was to highlight all of those, whether it was on social media and do events in the community and outreach as well. Just try to connect them with people here in Nashville and just grow our community, which is awesome. And with Latina Nashville, my goal was to has always been to just kind of highlight different artists that I believe in. And it started off primarily as just Latina creatives and such, but I want to definitely open the doors of just anybody who's making a difference in the community. Doesn't matter. If you have a cool story, I want to hear it. You know, we were just talking about Jackie at Creators. She's actually one of the guests on one of the upcoming episodes, and it's because she has this ridiculous resume of things that she's done in her time in radio and beyond that. And Elena Smith, who she worked with for such a very long time, who was a dear friend of hers, she came on and told her story. And, you know, they're not artists, but they're very intertwined in artist stories and just everything in our community making positive changes.
And I feel like the conversation of attracting a Hispanic audience with country music has been out there for years.
Yeah.
Because I haven't been at a radio station, like a terrestrial radio station, in over a decade. And that was a conversation that was starting to bubble up before I got out of terrestrial radio.
Really?
Yeah. So it's just... It feels like a bunch of people stumbling around, not like they know they need to do a thing, but they just don't know how to do the thing. And all they have to do is do the thing.
Like, it's not that hard.
It's like I keep saying, just about women. Play the music. That's all you have to do is play the music.
And I mean, I think I've done some digging, and it's like Casey Musgraves, arguably one of the biggest artists, I mean, not just in our genre, not just in our national bubble, but in the world, you know. She has had very little to no airplay.
Almost none. Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, I know. Well, and it's all because of Kiss Lots of Boys or Kiss Lots of Girls, if that's what you're into. Suddenly, you know, between that and I think it was the same song or a different song where she advocated smoking weed. And then it was like, oh, God, no, we can't have that in country music. Yeah.
Right.
It's a whole
It's a whole nother topic. But
banned
it's
for life, even though there's no ban.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you feel like, though, with all of that being said, that the country music is evolving at all, or are they just throwing up new roadblocks?
I think it definitely is. And I think that it is easy to get sucked into all the negativity that we hear and we see all the time, especially in a day where, like, everything's on social media. You're always, like, comparing others. And I think that there's also some really great things happening. Just like we said, this year's ACM nominations are led by girls, all females, and they're all incredible. And, you know, we all just want each other to win, truly. And I feel like there's always, like, a narrative, too, that, like, everyone's in competition.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Yeah. And it's just a weird thing that we do as you know, society to goals.
I think it sort of ties into this idea that if women don't want to hear other women, which is what we're constantly told, then that means if there is a woman that we're going to choose to support, whether it's Lainey or Ella or Miranda, we're not going to support all of them.
You can only support one. And
we
then
have
when,
to
like,
be super careful.
Yeah.
And so there's only room for one or two or three.
Yeah.
Which is also a lie. But that's where that whole competitive thing comes in. And then there's that whole stereotype of women catfighting.
That, and it's always like, you know, so-and-so can come out with an album today, but then instead of saying, like, oh my gosh, it was so good, you're almost like, oh, it's so much better than hers.
Right.
It's such a thing that people are used to saying today. It's really weird.